From Field Pass Hockey Southern Command, this is the Inside the SPHL podcast. Here is your host, James Hayes.
Welcome to this week's episode of Inside the SPHL. I got a really good episode lined up for you guys. I got a few guests coming on the show. I know you guys always like it when I bring more than one person on because it gets boring just listening to me. But I'm going to start this one off a little bit different than the last one. So I'm gonna lead us into the guest. I want to talk about the Huntsville Havoc. You know, this last weekend they had a great weekend. They had that 5-0 win against the Mayhem, and then they had that 2-1 victory over Pensacola. They're rolling along. They're sitting second right now in the standings. They've been up top all season long, first or second. Them and Knoxville are just knocking each other out for it, and they're going to get another chance this week coming up to play each other and battle for that number one spot. And meanwhile, Peoria's got something to say about it. They're creeping up on everybody in the background. So the end of this season's really, really turning up to be a pretty good one. So real quick about the game over this last weekend. So Nutkevitch, the guy that's leading the league in points and everything else, he got two points against the Mayhem, and then he got the shorthanded goal against Pensacola, and he's just having a phenomenal season. And because of that, that's who I decided I wanted to bring on this week. He was kind enough to come on. So that's going to lead me into my first guest. You know, he's a 3-time President's Cup winner. He's in his 10th professional season. He spent his last 5 seasons with the Huntsville Havoc, where he won his President's Cup. He's the all-time leader in points in franchise history for the Havoc with 290 points. And this season, he's leading the league. Like I said earlier, 58 points. He's got 23 goals, 25 assists. Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce you guys to Nutkevitch. Cy, what's up, man? How you doing?
I'm good. Yourself?
Oh, no complaints on my side. I always like whenever I can get a guy that's well accomplished. I mean, team accomplishments and individual accomplishments. I'm bad with words to start this thing off. But
don't be nervous.
Yeah, I'm nervous, man. I'm in front of royalty, right? I mean, SPHL royalty. But I mean, you guys, as a team, you guys have done it all in your time there. And I mean, as an individual, I know hockey guys aren't all about individual goals, but you've hung in there and done it all. I mean, what's it mean to you to when you got that 290th point? Was that something you knew was coming up? Was it in the back of your mind coming into that game, or?
It was something I knew was coming up. I think when you play this long, or at least I personally, I haven't tried to follow any of that stuff because it can get in your head.
Yeah.
Whether it's on a year-to-year basis, on a career, whatever it is, points all, I really don't pay attention to it much. I think at one point earlier in the year, when I passed Stuart Stefan for number 2 all-time in Huntsville Havoc, I didn't know that one happened. But I did know what the number was from that point on to become number 1.
Yeah. And were you gunning for it?
A game or two when I was getting close to it. I wouldn't say I was nervous, but I was almost and hoping to get to the number so I can feel like a little bit of a burden was off my back. Because I knew there was a couple other people on the team who knew about it also.
Yeah.
And just be a little bit freer after that. But it was definitely a great feeling. It was a great accomplishment. I think how it happened was a little bit different too, with it being in shootout and knowing the rules in this league. A game-winning shootout goal counts towards your stats, and being on the bench, and you don't really have the control, but you know, like my roommate is Hunter Vorva, and I was with Tyler Pesantini and Barber on the bench, and we all 3 of us knew that if Hunter stopped the puck, that would create the game-winning goal for me. So it was a very different feeling than being on the ice and not knowing it's going to happen, because this one was like, you don't have much control. You did your part. Now is someone else going to make it happen?
Yeah, it had to happen in dramatic fashion, right? That's the only way it could go down.
Yeah.
But yeah, well, Vorva, he held strong for you, and he helped you, so he should get an assist on that point, on that winner. So,
I'll let him know that. He's played really well for us too this year. So.
Oh, absolutely,
really
absolutely. Yeah. I know whenever Max left, a lot of people were like, I mean, what's going to go on? And I don't know. I kind of knew he was going to be able to do it. I just feel like you guys got the package together to make it happen in front of him, and it's got to feel comfortable being a goaltender in Huntsville right now is what I imagine.
Yeah, I
But
think Glenn puts like an emphasis on team play, quite a bit. But honestly, like our from goaltending, whether it's been Max, Hunter, or Zane, I think like all year we've had really good goaltending. We play, we're a good team from top to bottom. We play well in front of them all the time, also, or most of the time. But they've definitely come up with the saves when needed to.
yeah, absolutely. I've got to watch you. I cover the Bulls. I write articles about the Bulls. I cover the whole league on the podcast, but I've got to see you come to Birmingham a few times as a team, and it seems like you guys always play a little tougher against the Bulls. What's that rivalry mean to you? I mean, you've been around as long as the Bulls have been around in this league now, or a little bit longer actually. So
Yeah, I think the rivalry is a little different because I think they play harder. It feels like the Bulls play very hard against us, and it's personal every time they play us. So a lot of times, if we don't match that intensity, then we're going to come out on the wrong end of the battle when it means so much or the intensity is so high on one side. Even if the other side some years may be more talented, like talent doesn't always win. Sometimes like Birmingham's given us a hard time a couple times this year because they play hard. I think definitely since Kerr came to town, helped out a bit. I think they've beaten us twice of the 4 times we've played them since they've had Kersey behind the bench.
yeah, it's been it's a hit and miss team in Birmingham right now, but
also you guys have had like you said, when you guys came into the league, like you had Harris, you had Barber for a couple of years. You guys have had some good players there too.
yeah. So Barber, tell me about having him come on the team this year. That what was that? Were you worried you weren't going to get the puck anymore since he likes to score so many goals?
No, honestly, I wasn't. I know a little bit. I know he plays wing. I know he's a shooter, and I'm center and pass first, pass second, probably shoot third.
Yeah.
So really didn't bother me. I mean, I was looking forward to it. Anytime I like to think I'm a pretty good player, so good players want to play with other good players.
Yeah.
So anytime you can get another good player on the team that wants to come to Huntsville, I was all for it. It was great. I think Huntsville's a great place, not just to play hockey, but to live. I really enjoyed my time here quite a bit. It's very fun. The city is growing. There's other stuff to do. It's not just hockey all the time.
Yeah. It seems like everybody wants to stay in Huntsville once they get there. It must be great up there.
Well, I mean, there's a couple of jokes like every now and then. Armstrong on Roanoke will be like, "Yeah, it must be nice to play in the country club."
That's great.
But no, I think a lot of it has to do with also like a bit of our relationship off the ice. Obviously, like I feel like when you win, you build relationships, but also culture has always been big to Glenn and the Havoc, or at least when I've been here, of how they like to build things. So I feel like the relationships they get built here. So like you become like close friends and teammates, and then you like doing stuff. You're playing golf with these people. You're going out on the weekend and enjoying each other's company. Or Nashville's only an hour and 45 minutes away from Huntsville.
Yeah.
So you're not just like going to the rink and sitting in your apartment or worried about the weather. For the most part, like the weather's pretty good. We can probably golf like I'd probably say 6 of the 7 months that we're here.
Yeah, that's the truth.
So
that's the truth. And then that other month is because there's tornadoes blowing through the parts of all the parts of this state.
just on the wrong. It just depends on the day.
Yeah. So, do you spend your off seasons in Birmingham, or do you go back home?
No, I go back to Montreal.
Okay.
Usually, like I don't rush out of here. I'll probably stay about 2-3 weeks, maybe after the season ends, and then I drive back to Montreal.
I got you. Does that make you a Canadiens fan?
I am a Canadiens fan.
Yeah, that's how you feeling about that team this year after the run they had last year?
Well, the run was really enjoyable considering I had to, like, when I went back to Canada, even though I was fully vaccinated, I had to do like a 14-day quarantine and everything.
Oh.
So the run that they went on actually was like helped me get through that 14 days because
hey, there you
go
go.
anywhere else, I was going to get fined. Yeah. So it was like something to look forward to because in Montreal we have like a French radio station, but also a TV channel, and they basically covered the Habs from 12 o'clock lunchtime up until their 7 o'clock game.
Nice.
So I was going outside in the backyard, tanning, and then coming back in and listening to the post game and doing all that stuff to try and pass the time.
That's awesome. I mean, I don't know. I didn't think Cole Caulfield was ever going to slow down. Him and Suzuki are like unbelievable kids out there skating around, making it look easy, it seems like.
Yeah, Caulfield's been really hot too since Marty St. Louis took over behind the bench.
Yeah, I've been listening to a lot of things about that, about how St. Louis was going to turn things around for these younger players, and I was like, you can't do that instantly. And yeah, well, I'm wrong. I'm wrong.
Yeah, no, I think it's one of those. Obviously, it's a weird season for a team like that. That leadership with like Weber, Joel Edmondson, Carey Price haven't played, but they were nowhere near as bad as their record showed. Like if you looked at some of their stats before he took over, like 8 wins in like 50 games or something like that, minus 75 goal differential. Like they're bottom 2 or 3 in every single. And I'm not saying that there should be a Stanley Cup contender like they were last year, but they still have some really, really good players and some depth on that team.
Yeah. It was one of those things. I think something needed to change. It's one of those things you haven't had to experience in Huntsville because you guys are a wagon every year. but walk me through the beginning of the year. I mean, was that getting that record of most consecutive games to start the season? Was that something that you guys were talking about in the locker room, or was that just kind of something you guys washed out of your minds because you just wanted to stay focused on the game at hand?
No, I think like once we got closer, it got brought up. I think, coaches are always looking for motivation or, little subtleties to try and get players going, teams going, have you stay focused or whatnot. I think at the beginning of the year, we were we're still doing good now, but at the beginning, we have some talented players in our team. And I think the league maybe wasn't ready, or we got a head start on the league, a jump start, having some of the older guys and some talented players. And we came out the gates like firing, on all systems. And, we lost a couple of people to call up since then. But I think we can do the same thing again now in March or in April in the playoffs. I think when the game starts, you really don't think about that record. You're so focused on the moment, on your next shift or what you need to do out there, so that way you don't have any mental mistakes. But I think like the record thing is a lot about not people on the outside, but like coaches or management or a way to sell tickets or to get to it's a buzz, right? For the players, you're sort of trying to just stay in your own bubble and stay focused on what you can control.
Yeah, it's something for me to talk about, nothing for you to worry about.
Exactly.
That's what
exactly. It's great for the podcast.
Yeah. So how much of that starting of the season do you dedicate to, or I guess dedicate to the you guys have been your core has been together forever, it seems like. I mean, of the team, you've had Kaiser, Max has been there for a while, and I know I'm leaving a couple of guys out, but I'm drawing a blank because I'm freezing.
Piacentini.
Yeah. PS. How do I forget Piacentini, the captain of the team? That. So I mean, and you guys got to play last year. A lot of these other teams didn't get to play. I mean, there was only a few, and a lot of the teams that did play last year are not the same teams they were last year. You only see 1 or 2 guys. Do you think that played a big role into the way that you guys just were able to tear through the league to start things? And you're really still doing it, but other teams are starting to mesh finally.
Yeah, I think it has probably a little to do. I think for the most part, we start pretty good each year. Glenn is very big on culture, so we do a lot of team bonding stuff like when the season starts, either before the first game or right after the first game, like going away for a weekend somewhere where we can learn about each other and do other things other than hockey. A lot of like trust exercises and stuff that's become fun over the years that wasn't necessarily so fun my first 2 years here. Yeah. A Navy SEAL guy coming to train us, but that's another story.
That's awesome.
I think you are right. I think some teams were new players. We had a lot of new players also, though. I think that gets lost a little bit on, we had me, Kaiser, Piacentini, Dar, Newcomb, Reginato, and Max and Nets, but everyone else was a new player, wasn't on the team last year. I think the one advantage we maybe had a little bit was that we were all older players coming back, and we've all played together for, I played with Kai 6 years, Ty. This is my 5th year with Ty, and it's going to be my 4th year with Dar, So when we're on the ice together, I play with Ty pretty much not off and on, but I would say of the games we've both played in, probably 90% of the games since he's been on the team, we play on the same line, Kai's power play. I think we know each other. There was chemistry, and then, Bard Jacobs, obviously a great player, and so you throw him with a little bit of talent. And, I think we didn't catch teams off guard because I think like you said, we've always been good the last couple of years.
Yeah.
But I think, you're always excited to start a new year, and that teams were trying to get into shape or trying to like find their legs, as opposed to us, like, we're the older guys. We know what we have to do to produce in this league. So we had our legs already, and it was just about making sure that we did our part so we can do it when the lights are the brightest on Fridays and Saturdays.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It seems like Barber, he jumped right in, and it almost seemed like he'd been playing with you guys all along to start out with. Whenever I mean, just watching those first couple of games of the year, I mean, what hell, he went out and scored against his old squad right off the bat on opening night. So he just seemed like he fit in.
I think he's had quite a few goals against Birmingham.
Yeah. He finally got one last time you guys were in down there in Pelham. He got one back in his old barn even. But yeah, I mean, hell, he's got goals. You and him both, and Piacentini, you guys all got goals against everybody in the league, I think. So it's just, you guys are just a goal scoring force, and I think a lot of that. I think in that a lot of people tend to forget that you guys are a very good defensive team too. And you brought up Kaiser and earlier you were talking about Vorva, and I mean, do you think, does the offense help the defense? Are people playing a little bit different against you guys, do you feel, because you have that offensive firepower? Or
I think they play harder on us.
Yeah.
Especially some of the bigger teams, try and intimidate us maybe from time to time, with physicality, or whether it be stick work or chirping, try and see if they can phase us out of a game. I think, luckily, like, I can only speak, the bigger the game, the more I enjoy it. And I think that's one of the reasons we've won a couple of championships here, is that you need to like those moments. You can't be phased out of a game. Hitting can't take you out of the game, or whacking. You have to be willing to still do what you're expected to do no matter what the game is.
Yeah, definitely. I understand that.
I think it's really worked well. I think, honestly, the offense has slowed down a little bit the last month, but we've played well. It's been some bounces here and there. Goaltending has been really good. A couple of goalies have come to the Von Braun Center and played really, really well. And I think people do. It's nice for us to play in front of a lot of fans, but it's also nice for some other teams to come. And I think they enjoy it too, that they get fired up to play in front of full building also.
Yeah, absolutely. You guys are definitely selling a lot of tickets up there. So I want to talk about you guys' penalty kill. When you guys were in Birmingham last time, you guys have the most aggressive penalty kill I've ever seen. I've never seen a group of penalty killers just attack the puck as aggressively as you guys did in that game. And I mean, is that just an always thing for you guys? Is that how you guys penalty kill, or was it that game and you guys were just in the moment and feeling it? Because that was some aggressive penalty kill, and I was watching.
I think we've changed it a couple of times over the years. This year, it's definitely been aggressive, especially up high with the two forwards, with what we're supposed to do, pushing down the wall and take away the seam. Stuart Stefan, the legend, does run the PK here.
Yeah.
So, he takes great pride in it. It's not funny when we get scored against, but if I'm not on the ice and we get scored against, he'll drop an F-bomb from here and there, behind the bench, and kick the glass. And that's how personal he takes it.
Really?
When the PK gets scored on. No, I mean, obviously, special teams is so important if you want to win games. The power play needs to score goals, and the PK needs to stop them. It's crucial, especially in this league. It really is crucial. It's crazy how far special teams will take you in this league, and how many games you'll win on special teams. Specific to the Birmingham, the game you're talking about, I think it's a little bit in zone feels a little bit smaller in Birmingham, so you can be a little bit more aggressive. I think we also sometimes kill, depending on how the game's going. A lot of times I kill with Piacentini, and we know each other so well that I know when he's going to go on someone in the D zone, in the PK. And when I think he's going on someone, I just try and read where the next pass is going, and then I jump that play, and then it's continuous. And then any time that the puck ends up on the wall, or it's not full possession, it's then easier for the defense or everyone else to attack or swarm.
Yeah, I got you. That was a good breakdown. I wasn't expecting that good of a breakdown. Not to say that I didn't expect it out of you. I just wasn't expecting that. That's good. That's good. Now, that tells me a lot from my questions I had. But so let's go a little bit lighter here on our talking now. I think I've been trying to dig a little deep here. But tell me, you got any funny stories that you want to share from your I mean, you've been playing pro hockey for a decade. There's got to be something you could tell me about, or even back in your college days, because I failed to mention that you had a pretty great college career too.
Yeah, I mean, we can talk. I'll give one Potsdam story, and then I'll give a Huntsville story. But you can tell me if you want a hockey story or a non-hockey Huntsville.
It doesn't matter, man. Anything
That'll be
that
your
you
choice.
think will make
So
the fans laugh.
Okay, I got one then. So the Potsdam one, I had a buddy of mine. I'd already been in Potsdam for 1 year, and a buddy of mine from Montreal wanted to come. So my dad spoke to the coach, and he's like, yeah, he'll be able to get the job done. So whatever, he ends up coming. And he's a good friend of mine. And, you know, you're in college, you know, you're 21 years old, 22 years old, and it's Friday, Saturday nights, you're drinking. And someone bets my buddy that he can jump over like a big thing of hedges, right? So he ends up jumping over the hedges. He's so pumped. We walk down to the bar, and he tells me he thinks his heel's broken. I was like, what do you mean you think your heel's broken? We haven't stepped on the ice yet. So the next day, it's Sunday morning, and we got like team bonding. And my buddy, we're playing on like the team bonding is a softball game. So he's pretty good. He's pretty good baseball. He thinks he's great at everything, but he is a pretty good softball player. And he's a lefty, and he hits one, but it doesn't go over the fence, right? So then we've got to run the bases, and he's limping.
Oh. So
then the game's over, and everyone goes back to their dorms or goes back to bed. It's Sunday or whatever, and the coach comes up to me, and he's like, what's wrong with your buddy? Why is he hurt already? And I was like, oh, I think he must have just turned his ankle like when we were playing baseball. And he's like, I don't think so. I saw him limping on the way to the field already. Always hold that one against him, that the coach knew he got hurt before he even stepped on the ice.
Yeah. Oh, we were. You don't want to tell him. Oh, we were having a couple last night, and no, that's great. That's great.
Huntsville. There's been some stuff. I mean, there's been a lot of stuff over the years. You know, the nightlife and all the hot dog stories. Like one time, I got two stories. And one time, I don't know if you remember the name Stepan Timofeyev.
Yeah.
Okay, so Stepan Timofeyev, he came here, and he was honestly quite the character. He's like a very funny guy. Liked him a lot. So with the bus rules, when we go to Pensacola for just one game, if we don't play the next day, a lot of times we'll come for like the normal time. So like we'll show up at 5 for a 7 o'clock game, but then the bus can't leave till like 1:15 to come back home. So how it works is we'll go play the game, we'll eat, and then Glenn and Stu will tell us to be like, okay, bus is leaving at 1:15 to go back to Huntsville. You have till 1:05. So we get to go downtown there a little bit. It's like a 5-minute walk. I forget the name of the bar. There's like 6 bars all in one there, right on the main street. It's really easy. And there's like a hot dog stand outside. So Stepan Timofeyev, he was having a really good time, and he was already quite the character, and he's known for his like facial expressions and all that stuff. And he had no money on him, but he wanted me to buy him a hot dog. And I said, okay, no problem. Go tell the lady what you want. So he looks back and he says, I'll have the works. And he tells the lady he'll have the works. Okay. So then he goes back to his conversation, right? I pay the bill for him.
Yeah.
And he has a hot dog, and it gets handed to him like on a cardboard box. And he looks at it. He's like, what am I supposed to do with this? So there was like a chili cheese dog on there with onions, ketchup, mustard, mayonnaise. It was an $8 hot dog with all you could eat, and he had to eat it out of a cardboard box as he was walking back to the bus, and he was literally just like shoveling it through the cardboard box, and it would like be falling onto him or onto the street as we were walking back to the bus, leaving Pensacola one time.
That's awesome. That doesn't even sound tasty. I mean, that's just too much.
I think it was too much.
That's just too much. That's awesome. Did you make him pay you back?
No. For the laughs that we had on the walk back, it was all good.
Yeah, that would have been great. That would have been great if somebody would have had their phone up with the camera and videoing that. It would have been better.
And then I would say Nolan Kaiser. He's known for a couple of fluke injuries here and there. Just a little bit of bad luck for the guy sometimes. But one of the funniest ones was him and Tyler Pisney were living together. Nolan has a wife now here, and I don't remember if it was last year or the year before, but he was cleaning his bedroom at the apartments, and he stood up on the bed, and he forgot that the ceiling fan was going, and it knocked him in the top of the head. So then he came to my house, and we were watching hockey while we were having dinner here, and he was holding a towel over the top of his head because he was bleeding. And that the thing cut him open, and that we were joking that like only he can get hurt by a ceiling fan in his own apartment.
That's awesome. Yeah, you're gonna have to wrap him in bubble wrap whenever he's not playing if he's gonna keep doing that. That's
Well, we
great.
need him. He's an important guy, so I can't have that.
Yeah. Just lock him up in a what is that? What was that movie along Bubble Boy back in the 2000s or something? Just give him a bubble to live in while he's not playing hockey. So,
No,
that's
those are the
great.
two stories. I mean, there's
I don't really have a whole lot of more questions. I got kind of just an easy question. Maybe it's easy, maybe it's not. If you weren't a hockey player, what would you be right now?
that is tough. In the summer, I work for a hockey agency, like teaching a little bit of player development and like talking about that stuff. I'd like to probably stay in sports, but I also like water skiing and barefooting and being on the water.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure. That's a good question. I mean, I got to figure that out for what my next profession is going to be.
Yeah, no. I mean, it doesn't seem like you're anywhere close to retiring after the season you're having right now. So I think you still got a little bit more in the tank before you got to worry about
We'll
it.
see. I'm getting old.
Hey, I still haven't had anybody on this podcast older than me. I got you beat by 2 years. I'm 36, so I'm still the old one here.
Oh, you look good for though.
Yeah, but I don't think I look as good as you. If I stood up, you'd see I got that beer gut going. So I don't hit the gym like you guys. But yeah, man, that's all I got for you. I really appreciate you coming on, and I wish you guys the rest of the luck, you and the rest of the team. Good luck the rest of the season, and I look forward to seeing you guys push through the playoffs. You're always one of my favorite teams to watch moving along through that process.
I appreciate that, and anytime, I don't mind doing this type of stuff.
Yeah, maybe we'll catch up afterward.
Bit, so yeah,
I'll hit you up in Montreal this off season, and you can give me a tour on the podcast.
Yeah, if you want a tour downtown or a tour of my Montreal,
it doesn't matter.
Have you been there?
I've never made it up there. That's one of the places I got to go visit, but I got to wait for all this COVID crap to go away.
Yeah, well, hopefully Canada is going to start to come around a little bit now.
Yeah, we'll see. You never know. I mean, yeah, I hope so. I hope so for them because they're way worse shape than we are down here when it comes to restrictions.
Well, it's not even the same planet.
Yeah. We could do a whole podcast on that one. We probably shouldn't get into that.
We shouldn't get into it. And
Yeah.
I don't want to. There's way more people in this league that have more further out views than me, so you don't want me for that one.
Yeah.
You can get much more entertaining from other people.
I gotcha. Yeah, definitely. Well, all right, man. I'll let you go, and thanks again for coming on.
Thanks. Anytime. I appreciate it. Sorry about that little cut out there.
Man, no worries, man.
All right. Have a good day.
Well, there you have it. Nutkevitch from the Huntsville Havoc. Really appreciate him coming on. It's always nice to get guys get guys on here that have been in the league for a while because they got a lot more experience than some of these younger guys, and they usually like to tell some of those funny stories. So once again, I thank Nutkevitch for that, and let's move on here with the podcast, and let's move on. I don't know what I'm trying to say here, but I do have another guest coming on a little bit later, and he did some awesome stuff this past weekend as well. So we'll talk about that here in a few minutes. But let's kind of walk through the rest of the league here. Why am I saying and do I say that whenever I'm on interviewing guys? I need you guys to leave that in the comments. Leave it right down there in the little comments. Tell me if I say and too much when I'm interviewing a guy, because I know when it's just me, I say it all the time and it drives me freaking crazy. And I'm sorry for that. I'm going to work on it. I'm going to get better. This is only 20 episodes, so I don't know. Maybe I can get better at it. Anyways, let's move on. Let's talk about Vermilion County. So they had a couple of things happen to them this weekend that were good things. First off, they didn't have it start the week off. They had that early morning game at 10 o'clock in Evansville, and Evansville handled business 7-2. And that one wasn't good. And then they played Peoria, and they got Peoria in overtime. And that was a great game. There it is again. But anyways, that was a really good game to watch. And also that game helped them not break a record, or no, not break, but not tie a record that they don't want any part of. They would have tied the record for most consecutive losses or game winless streak record that is held by the Louisiana Ice Gators from the 2010-2011 season at 20 games. And the victory over the Peoria Rivermen prevented them from holding that record. So congratulations to you, Vermilion County. I'm not trying to be a jerk about this. That's good that you didn't get that, because I know everybody's hard on you guys this year. Well, not everybody. A lot of people are hard on you guys because they just expect everybody to be the freaking Las Vegas Golden Knights and win it all, or get close to winning it all their first year. Moving on to the next one, they played Peoria again. We all know Peoria is not going to let stuff like that happen to them twice. I don't care if it's Vermilion County or Huntsville. They're going to play harder the next time after a loss. And they shut out the Bobcats 5-0. Big note here, Vermilion County captain Ben Bocal, and I'm sorry, Ben, if I said your last name incorrectly. I had it all right in my brain earlier, but I feel like I said it right. But anyways, the captain, Ben Bocal, played his 100th career SPHL game. That is a huge accomplishment for anybody to play 100 games at any professional level. And he hasn't just played in the SPHL. He actually played with the Danville. What the heck was Danville's name last year? I don't even remember. The FPHL team. But he played with them last year. And he did 12 of his games with Macon in the 17-18 season. 53 of those games came with Quad City in the 18-19 season, and then 35 this year with the Bobcats. Congratulations to you. Huge accomplishment, and here's to many more in the future for you. And so more with the Bobcats. They're sitting in last place still. It's kind of been where they've been hanging out in the standings all season long. It's unfortunate, but somebody's got to be there, right? They're not mathematically eliminated from the playoffs yet. We got a lot of teams that are in the playoffs, but it's not them. So far, they are not in or out. So nobody is mathematically eliminated yet. Moving on to Peoria. Peoria had a unique weekend. I don't know if unique's the right word. They just had a different that's unique too. I'm just using the same words. I'm really screwing this podcast up. Peoria had a weekend missing a few players. That's what we're getting at. Hageman didn't play. Cody Dion didn't play. They're both battling some injuries. And I mean, I guess we can blame that for the loss to Vermilion County, but I don't. I mean, whenever you play a team that often, you're going to get to know each other pretty well. And so Vermilion County and Peoria know each other pretty well, and they jumped on it, took advantage. And then they lost to Evansville again. Evansville battling hard to stay in that 8th and final playoff spot. They lost to them 5-2, but they closed out the weekend with that 5-0 win over Vermilion County. They sit 1 point behind Huntsville right now in the standings. They can actually jump them before the full weekend gets into play. Knoxville and Huntsville are playing a 1 versus 2 battle, and it may not technically be 1 versus 2 if Peoria handles business this week before that game gets played. So the race for first place has gotten very, very exciting between those three teams, and definitely something to keep an eye on, because none of those three teams want to lose, and we're getting to where a lot of them are starting to play each other a little bit more. So keep an eye out for the Rivermen. Next up, Quad City versus Fayetteville. So that was a heck of a Twitter war in those games. Those two teams were trolling each other. It was awesome. Go back to their Twitter pages and just kind of read. They were posting stuff after the games, and Quad City was calling out Fayetteville for not tagging them when they were talking trash, and then Fayetteville talked trash and tagged them in the next one. It was just fun. Good, clean fun. That's what we like to see on social media. It's fun. But anyway, so Quad City took that first one 3-1 over Fayetteville. Fayetteville took the second game 3-2, and then Sunday they got them 7-3. And the cool thing about that 7-3 win, if you're a Fayetteville fan, I suppose, was that they were all scored by 7 different players. So usually when you get that many goals, somebody's got 2 and they're banging on the door of a hat trick, but not in that one. So that was a good one. Quad City, they're still a solid hockey team. I'm not taking that away from them, but they did give up that 4th spot in the playoff standings, or the standings. It may not have to be playoff standings. You guys know what standings I'm talking about. But they gave that up. They're down 1 point now, and Fayetteville clinched the playoff spot. So now we have 4 teams clinched. We got Knoxville, Huntsville, Peoria, and Fayetteville. All 4 of those. Is that going to be the top 4 when the season's over? Will Quad City jump up and get them? Will Pensacola catch anybody? I don't know. Only time will tell. but this is getting fun. It is really getting fun watching how things are unwinding here in this final stretch of the season. So next up, we're going to talk about Knoxville and Roanoke. This was a pretty good series if you're a Knoxville fan. But 5-4 win Friday night for and Mac Jansen tied things up in that one with 27. No, not with. Mac Jansen tied things up 27 seconds into the third period in that game. It was 4-4, and it was looking like we were going to overtime. And 42 seconds to go, Stefan Timofayev decided, I'm ending this thing a little bit early. We're just going to score a power play goal. And that was all she wrote. I think that's a better way than it. And who is she when they say she wrote? I wonder who that is. I don't know. Leave it in the comments. Who is she and what did she write? Anyways, so that's how that one went. And then they played again on Saturday night, and Knoxville did not let Roanoke hang in there as close on this one. They beat them 6-1. Stepan Timofeyev scored twice, and the man did the Michigan. Are you kidding me? The Michigan. Yeah, he did it. It was awesome. I think that was the biggest news of the week. Coolest goal of the year, right? We always love to see that lacrosse style goal. And so, yeah, it was great. So Knoxville right now sitting atop the league. They are number one. They have not lost in regulation in their last 7 games. Remember a couple weeks back, they were struggling. They lost like 3 games in a row or something. And everybody's like, oh, no, Knoxville's not going to be who we thought they were. Yeah, well, Knoxville's who we thought they were. So Roanoke, on the other hand, they're trending down. They're struggling. I don't know what's going on in Roanoke. They're a good team, big physical team. They can score some goals. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what they got to change to make things happen, but they've only won 2 of their last 10, and that is not how you want to be sitting right now. They're in 7th place, and guess what? They're tied for 7th place with Evansville. Evansville's technically in 8th place because of tiebreakers, but they both have the same amount of points. So that's going to play in a little bit later on, and we're going to see how things play out. Are these teams that aren't in, are they going to be chasing Roanoke, or are they going to be chasing Evansville, or I don't know, Pensacola? I don't know. I feel like Pensacola is kind of slowly separating themselves away from people. But anyways, this is going to bring me to talk about my next guest, because you can't score a goal like that and not have me bring somebody on that's going to talk about it. So I think it's time to talk more about this Timofeyev goal. And to do that, we need to talk to Stefan Timofayev. So let's send it over to him. I'm going to bring on a guy that can walk us through this goal last weekend, that can tell us all about it better than anybody else, because he's the guy that did it. So he's in his 5th year pro. He spent the past 2 seasons with the Knoxville Ice Bears. He's the latest professional hockey player to score the Michigan goal. And when I seen it happen, I knew he was going to come on the podcast. He just didn't quite know yet. But without further ado, welcome to the show, Stefan Timofeyev. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm good. I'm enjoying all this stuff. I got to see a couple of pretty awesome goals this last weekend. One of the Pensacola players did the Bobby Orr, and then you went out and did the Michigan. So it's just it's been good. I got to give yours credit. So I mean, is that something you've talked about all season that you were going to try to do? Is it just been in the back of your mind that you were like, I'm going to try that, or did it just spur of the moment? You're like, hell, I'm going to give it a shot.
I actually done it before in the Federal Hockey League.
Okay.
Yeah, so it just was a situation on the ice, and I can actually try it, and I knew nobody gonna be able to hit me right away, so I had enough time.
Yeah.
And then everything else, I just got lucky, I guess.
That's awesome. So I'm going to pull up the clip so everybody can see it if they missed it. There we go. There's the clip. All right. So you took the puck behind the net and nobody was coming to you. All the defenders were up front. I mean, did you just instantly decide right there? You were like, yep, going for it.
Yeah, before I got to the puck, I took a look and I saw Bushy, my former teammate from last year. He didn't see where I am, where puck was, so I just decided to go for it, and it's some move it's not very hard to do. Most of the guys on my team can do the same thing very easily, so It was right play, right time.
It's hard for me,
lucky.
man. It's hard for me. I can't do it. But no, it's cool. It's always cool. You've seen a lot more of that. So next up, you got to do. I don't even know what are we going to call it. The Zegras, I think, is what I hear people calling it, where he just kind of tapped it up like that to the guy in front of the net and got the assist. Did you see that goal?
Oh yeah, I did. Yeah, I don't know if it's possible in our league.
Yeah.
We're still slashing people, and it's not easy to stay in front of the net here.
Yeah. A lot of guys like to smash bodies against the wall into the ice. So yeah, you're right. But hell, I mean, I don't know. I think you guys should still give it a shot. I don't know who could be your partner in crime on that one, but that'd be a good one. So what the guys on the bench say once you came back from scoring that?
There's everybody was extremely happy. It's not happens often, I was still shocked, I think, a little bit, and everybody was just wow. I was like, oh, crazy. It was great. It was great, and it was a lot of energy on the bench, and it's we tied the game early in the period, so it was a fun game. I tell you that. It was a very good game.
Yeah, absolutely. That was and that a lot of people can say that was probably the turning point. I mean, you said energy. I mean, something like that. People say fights can change the energy in a game. I think a goal like that can change the energy in a game too. So,
yeah.
But so let's talk a little bit about your playing career. So you started out playing your pro career in Port Huron with the Prowlers in the Federal League. What was your decision to go play in the Federal League among any other chances you could have possibly had?
Oh, it's a long story. It's actually a great opportunity for me to change it so people actually understand what's going on. So back in Russia, I played in Major Junior for 3 years, Russian Major Junior, and my family, my parents decided we're gonna move to the United States. So I'm permanently living in the United States, in New York State, and I went to play juniors in Canada. So my parents know the hockey people, and I didn't speak any English at all. So I knew I'm going to Canada, and I didn't know what kind of league I'm going to or anything. So it's a league called General Metro Hockey League, I believe, GMHL.
Yeah.
So I went there, and that's how I learned English and everything. And the league is not the Major Junior in Canada, right? It's just lower league. I'm very thankful for opportunities they give me and everything. I got better there. Everybody treated me amazing, and I'm very thankful for that. And then after that, so at that time I couldn't just go to US. I need visas and everything. So I signed first my contract. I signed with Canadian team, Cornwall. Yeah, and then because I didn't have a work visa, I couldn't play there. So for a half year, I was just practicing. And then Port Huron called me and said, let's try it. You will need to get visa and everything. So I went there. And I played, I believe, something like 29 games or something.
Yeah, I think that's what it says.
Yeah, so I was a rookie first year. And because I didn't play half year, I was a rookie next year in Elmira as well. So it's 2 years of rookie.
2 years of being a rookie. That sucks, man.
But and then rookie in Federal Hockey League. It's not like SPHL or higher leagues. It's like you loading the bus, you doing laundry, you cleaning the locker room.
Oh man. Did you at least have some other rookies to help?
Yeah, but it was when you're carrying the skate sharpening machine up to the stairs in Port Huron in 4 a.m. after bus ride back. And but that bus is amazing. They still have it. The thing with showing you how much gas you have not working.
Yeah.
So sometimes we would run out of gas, and the whole team was pushing it. But it was something special. All boys are together sharing the last meals and everything. It's great time for sure.
Yeah, and that league was probably a lot different than what you were used to in Canada too, because the Federal League gets a little more physical, I think, than junior hockey, doesn't it?
Yes, for sure. There's some big boys there. It's their job to fight, and offense love fighting. And sometimes it's crazy, but it's part of a game.
Yeah.
I'm lucky. I'm very quick, so I can, run away if it's too big.
Yeah,
and if it's
you can get away from it.
I can catch him. Yeah,
That's perfect. So you went on, like you said, with your second rookie year, and after that, you finally decided you were done being a rookie, and is that when you went to Macon, or did you start the next season with Elmira?
Second year as a rookie was better in FHL. I was kind of like rookie vet, and I had group leaderships who I met before, so they took it easy on me. But when you're going higher, you're still a rookie. So in Macon, that was my third year being a rookie. Yeah, so it was.
You were just never gonna get to stop being a rookie.
Yeah, it was sucked, honestly. But I made sure I played 36 games. Macon.
You played exactly 36.
Yeah, one over. So next year I'm not gonna be a rookie again.
Oh, that's great. And then Knoxville picked you up last year, and that team was awesome. Not to say this team's not awesome. You're on this year. You guys are leading the league, but playing last year in Knoxville, only playing against 4 other teams, and a lot of those guys were ECHL talent. You still got 10 games out of the whole out of the season. What was that season like last year for you? It had to have been different.
It was very different for sure. But same time, it was very good experience for me. Because I walk in the lineup and we have. Sorry. There we go. Get shut down here.
Is a roommate calling you?
No, I'm in the clubhouse. Actually, my roommate play video games right now, so I don't wanna.
Oh, I got you.
And he's from Sweden. You don't know what he's saying, but it's definitely swearing words.
Yeah, no, that's all right. Is that Wax and Ingback that's your roommate?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So last year, I got called up. Our season in FHL started late because of COVID and all of that.
Yeah.
So SPHL started earlier, and it's only 5 teams. So I was talking with Jeff Carr in the summer, and he said everything good. You coming here? And then when everything moved on, he called me and he said everything not that good for you now, and you're probably not coming here because of I have AHL guys and NHL drafted guys here, and you're just Timo who been rookie for 3 years basically. So I was like, So I started with Aymar Enforcers, and we were just there waiting for a decision if we're playing or not. So we're just skating every day, but it's what I do all the time, gym and ice. So, and then I got called up here, and then level of hockey was very good last year here, and it's very good hockey here as well right now. But because of last year, it was all locker room of ECHL guys basically.
Yeah.
And amazing Brucado, who's I call professor. He just he's just great, and it was different because I didn't play much. I can say I was a grocery stick, that kind of deal. But I was the guy my mission was go on the ice and just draw the penalty or start something.
Yeah.
I learned the face wash. That was pretty cool too. So I was just, but mentally, and it's like I've never been in that spot before. So to go through that, it's got me who I am now, mentally stronger, and I can adapt at any type of situation now,
Yeah, definitely. That's great. They didn't make you be a rookie for the 4th season though, right?
No, I said no.
So tell me more. Why do you call Bricado the professor?
Oh, he can play with one hand, and he just covering that puck. It just stick to him, no matter what you do to this guy,
Yeah.
I can take a puck away from him, not very hard, but everybody else is struggling,
Yeah, you don't got a problem. So they're gonna have to keep you. They're gonna have to keep you around. Otherwise, you got his number, right?
Yeah.
That's great. That's awesome. So, what about? I know you got another pretty big personality on there. You guys traded for Casey Kolzicki. What's he been like since he showed up in Knoxville and started playing with you guys?
Oh, this guy. I did not like him before we played against each other.
Yeah, nobody did.
So he's French Canadian. That's all I knew, and he was telling me all the time, "Go back to FHL," and I didn't want to go back. I was telling him, "No, we're going back." But he got to the locker room, and he chirped everybody on the team, probably coach too as well, trainer, and that's what he does, So,
yeah.
And he's huge part of the team. He's fighting for us, blocking shots, and he's great guy.
Yeah.
I was surprised, honestly, but
he's a whole different person when he's your teammate than he is whenever you're playing against him.
Yeah, which is very, very good. It's how it's supposed to be,
Yeah, definitely. So since you've been playing pro, what's been your favorite moment as a player that you've been a part of? Was it this goal last weekend? Because, I don't know. You said, did you do it in Elmira or did you do it in Port Huron when you did the goal last?
Elmira, yes, I did it in Elmira in overtime against Watertown.
That one was even bigger. You did it in an overtime winner.
Yeah, that was cool too. They let me stay behind the net for like good 20 seconds, I believe. I don't know. I think the biggest moment for me it was when when I knew my family coming here, I had to make sure everything is ready, and I had to find an apartment. I had to find furniture, everything, buy everything basically.
Yeah.
At that time, I didn't even have a driver license or anything like that. So my dad was in LA, and I said, "There's no way Los Angeles is gonna be good for us right now, because it's not NHL. We're not making big bucks here, and especially in the FHL as well."
Yeah.
So when Robbie Nichols and his wife, Nelly Nichols, they helped me out big time in Elmira. The sponsors got me furniture. They helped me everything. I was working at arena as well, mapping the stands and stuff, and they just helped me and my family to settle in and stuff. And when I didn't see my dad for 7 years. Because of the all United States process and all paperwork, it's taking a long time. And when I went to Canada, I didn't see my mom and my brother for good 4 years. So when everybody got back together and I saw them watching me playing hockey again after all these years, and I knew that everything is fine now, that was probably the biggest moment for me.
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
Yeah, and but yeah, last game is very close to it too.
Yeah. Yeah, but no, I mean, your family coming back together, that's definitely a bigger moment than that. That's for sure.
Yeah.
You guys all stay up in New York now?
Yeah, I would make a joke. I would say unfortunately, but yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, you got to move the family down in Knoxville. It's a lot more peaceful down there.
I don't think Knoxville ready for my family.
Yeah, hey, you never know. You never know.
Yeah.
That's great. That's great. Well, I don't want to take up too much of your time. I think that's about all I really got for you. Was there anything you wanted to add, or?
Yeah, I would like to. There was another moment last game, and it was when I got the first out of the game. Our announcer said, "Just want to share a moment," and he said that I'm from Russia and from St. Petersburg, and just give him some love, and everybody was like cheering and screaming, and it's hard times right now, and it was like something special for me as well.
Yeah.
So just want to say that Knoxville Ice Bears fans and whole organization is just such amazing people, and I'm very happy that I'm here, and everybody treat me like I belong here, and it's just special. Yeah, I want to thank them and make sure I mention them.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we all got your back, man. I'm happy you're here too. So it's a pleasure to talk to you, and it's always a pleasure to watch you play on the ice, man. So yeah, I mean, we all know that neither you or I have anything to do with what's going on over there. So like I said, but it's awesome, and I'm glad that they announced that for you, because that's good, and I'm glad the fans are behind you, because I mean, Knoxville's got some of the greatest fans in the SPHL too. So they're definitely going to have your back through and through. So that's great, man.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that.
But yeah, so I really appreciate you. We're gonna have to do this again later on, maybe after the season, sometime in the off season or something. And I'm gonna have to get you to tell me a little bit more. You keep saying your family's crazy. I might need to get into some of those stories.
Yeah.
But no, like I said, I appreciate it, and I wish you the best of luck the rest of the season, and I wish the whole night Ice Bears. I enjoy watching you guys, and good luck on your push to the playoffs and in the ultimate goal of winning it all this year, man.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah, let's see if people will understand what I'm saying. My English is still second language, right? So
I think you did just fine. I think everybody will understand you. It's not as bad as you think. I mean, hockey fans are used to listening to guys from different countries talking, so they should definitely know how to decipher words. But I think you did fine.
You just said it's not that bad, but okay. But at the same time, you said people.
Yeah, that is a good point. Don't call me out like that. No, it's not that bad. It's not that bad.
Good.
All right, man. I'm done with you. I'm done.
All right. Sounds good. All right. Yeah, thank you for having me. It was very fun. I appreciate your time. Thank you very much.
Well, there you have it. Stefan Timofeyev. Awesome interview. Awesome guy. Awesome goal. Awesome team. Everything's awesome. I feel like I should have been playing that song Awesome. I don't know. You probably got to get rights to that. And there's no way in hell I'm getting rights to a song like that, because I'm sure it's going to cost me too much money, and I don't have that much money. I don't know, but maybe you guys can donate me some money, and that way I can get some of these songs in here. No, I'm not asking for money. I'm just kidding. We're going to move on. We're going to keep doing our walk through the league. So we covered about half the league. I don't know, half or not. You guys know I'm bad about that. Sometimes I leave teams out. I'm never going to forget that, Tommy. I'm never going to forget leaving out Evansville. I'm sorry. So with that said, let's talk about Evansville. So Evansville, they lost 2 games to Birmingham, and Birmingham allowed the Bulls to close the gap on them one weekend before in the playoff race. Birmingham was looking primed, ready to run and take that spot away from them if Evansville continued that kind of play. Well, Evansville didn't. We already talked about the 7-2 win over Vermilion County on that Tuesday morning game. And then they went and played Peoria, and a lot of people were probably saying, well, Evansville's going to play Peoria, so that's going to give Birmingham another chance if they can take care of business in their own house this weekend. Well, Evansville had something to say. Josh Adkins had something to say. He scored twice. They beat Peoria 5-2. Great day to be a Bolts fan, right? So there's 4 points right there. They're jumping ahead of the Bulls. And then all of a sudden, Evansville went from a 9-point lead to a 13-point lead, and they're tied for 7th place. Evansville has a chance of not even being in that 8th spot anymore. And then we're going to have to talk about teams chasing other, Roanoke maybe. Who knows? But Evansville, they are turning it on when they need to turn it on. We're going to see if they can continue to do it and keep things moving along and keep that 8th spot in their control. So I guess Bulls fans, what I'm saying to you guys is you don't have to root for Evansville to lose every game anymore. Now you can root for Roanoke to lose every game. But we're going to get to the Bulls next because I have some bad news for you. The Bulls lost both of their games. Bad news for you Bulls fans. The rest of you don't care. The Bulls are down in 9th place. You wanted to hear about all the teams up top. But anyways, they lost 4-2 to Pensacola in a game that they probably shouldn't have lost, but Pensacola seen things different. They were up 2-0. Pensacola scored 4 unanswered. And it just wasn't Birmingham's night. That was also the night that Evansville beat Peoria. So, excuse me, coughing on a podcast is not proper. I should have hit the mute button. So, but we're just going to keep rolling with this podcast, doing things the wrong way, pronouncing words wrong, and saying too much. But so, yeah, anyways, they traveled to Macon the next night after that tough loss to Pensacola. You think, yeah, they're going to bounce back. Macon's one of the bottom 2 teams in the league. Nope. Macon beat them 4-0. So, with that said, a lot of people are going to be mad at me in Bulls Nation, but I do not feel like the Birmingham Bulls are a playoff team right now. If they can't beat the Macon Mayhem, they're not going to be able to get into the playoffs. So Macon, we'll talk about them for a minute. The 5-0 shutout loss to Huntsville, and then the 4-0 shutout win against the Bulls. Macon has won 7 games this year. 4 of those games have been against the Bulls. I don't know. What that tells me is the Bulls can't win the games they're supposed to win. That's what it tells me. And like I said, I'm not making a lot of people happy in Bulls Nation, but I don't know. But the Bulls are one of those teams that can hit and miss, and they can make a run. And Macon is a good squad. It just depends. They're another team. It just depends who shows up that night. Is it going to be the Macon team that shuts out the Bulls? Is it going to be the Macon team that scores 6 against the Bulls? Or is it going to be the Macon team that's 13 goals come in against them? I don't know. It's interesting the way the bottom of the standings are working this year. But yeah, those 2 teams, they always put on a good game. It's just, I feel that if we're going to consider Birmingham a contender, like, myself and Dana Barker talked about the week before, they got to win those games. They can't lose that. And you can't really give up that 2-0 lead like that and give up 4 unanswered. I don't know. We'll see. I just don't feel like the Bulls are a playoff team at the moment. But I have been wrong about a lot of things I've said this year, and I will happily eat crow about anything I'm wrong about all the time. But yeah. So anyways, but we'll talk about Macon a little bit. Still Elitis. I'm never going to get that right. He stopped 35 shots against the Bulls. Caleb Cameron, friend of the show, scored twice in that game. And Macon handled business. They were never out of it. The Bulls were never really in it. It was interesting. There was a suspension that came out of that game by a Macon player. And I'm trying to find it. Sorry. I already decided that I can do this. I can Google stuff while I'm doing the podcast. I'm not apologizing. So, not transactions. If anybody wanted to know, there's a lot of transactions in Vermilion County on this Monday as I record. Vermilion County owns the transaction board this year. but that is not the transaction I was looking for. And I am really screwing this up. Good thing I can like to hear myself talk. But yeah, so suspension. There we go. Chris Hunt was suspended 2 games for spitting on a Birmingham player. Come on, man. You can't do that. That's disgusting. But anyways, that was all. That was all for that. And let's move on to Pensacola now. Pensacola, they 4 unanswered. Marcus Russell scored one of the coolest goals of the weekend. Was going to be the coolest goal until Timofeyev did the Michigan. Marcus Russell was diving across the crease and batted the puck in and past Austin Lotz, and it was just awesome. My buddy Seth Allen got an awesome photo of it, and I'm going to see about sharing it on Twitter after this drops so you guys can see that, just like I showed you guys the video of the goal during the interview. But yeah, it was awesome. It was awesome. If you get a chance, go back and roll the clip. It's pretty cool how it all worked out. And that ended up being the game winner, too. To show you how hard Pensacola was fighting back in that game. That was impressive win by them, being down 2-0. And, Birmingham's been feeling themselves lately. And Pensacola said, we don't care what you feel. We're going to win this game. There was a couple Pensacola fans in the house, and they were just eating up those boos. And they were living their best life watching their team beat the home team. Next night, they went up to Huntsville, didn't go as planned for the Ice Flyers. They lost that one 2-1 in overtime. They got 3 points. 3 points on the weekend. No complaints there. No complaints. They've kind of separating themselves. They 3-point cushion over the Rail Yard Dogs now, who are battling to stay out of 8th, and they're sitting in 6th. And things are just looking pretty all right for the Pensacola Ice Flyers. As I've said, Pensacola is quietly very good this year. Kind of like they snuck up and everybody thought Macon and Knoxville were going to be the teams last year. And then all of a sudden, boom, Pensacola won the championship. How are they doing that? They don't even have the same players on the team this year. How are they going to be quiet and sneak up on us like that again this year? But I wouldn't be surprised. Would not be surprised. So, lastly, let me go and make sure I didn't leave anything out here on the standings as we talk about things to close this show out for the week as we head into another big week. Let me tell you, I didn't leave anything off on the standings. I told you guys about everybody that was locked in, and I'm not going to do math again to tell you who's going to be able to be locked in next, but I'm pretty sure Quad City is going to be able to be locked in next. So, and that could come as soon as March 1st, which is tomorrow, yesterday for you guys. So by the time this plays, Quad City might be locked into the playoffs because they're playing Vermilion County. Not because they're playing Vermilion County, because there is a game against Vermilion County. And it's a home game, and if they win that, they'll be locked into the playoffs. And they will also take back that spot from Fayetteville, which would be the number 4 spot in the standings. But yeah, so Roanoke's got to play Peoria this weekend, and they got them a couple of times, and maybe now's the time to turn things around. Turn things around if you're Roanoke. Nothing like beating one of the top 3 teams in the league to turn your team around down this final stretch. But Pensacola's got Birmingham again. Macon's going to play Fayetteville a few times. So we'll see if Fayetteville can handle business against the Mayhem, or if the Mayhem can just be like, we don't care if we're this far out of the playoffs. We're going to shove it down your throat. Either that or Fayetteville will shove it down their throat, or there'll be really good games and no throats will be shoved upon. Who knows? It's going to be a good weekend. Huntsville's actually traveling up to Vermilion County too, so you don't see a lot of these teams from way down here in the South traveling up that far this year because, trying to make everything work that way. I think the Bulls traveled there twice this year, but anytime you see Vermilion County, Peoria, or Quad City playing anybody other than each other, it's always going to be an exciting weekend in my mind. But a lot of good games. Knoxville, like I said, Knoxville, Huntsville on Friday night, top 2 teams in the league right now. They may not be by the time they play. But Knoxville's playing Birmingham. That's another team Birmingham always plays good. Last time they came into town, the Bulls put 7 on them. So you can only imagine that Knoxville's ready to avenge that. Other than that, that's it. That's all I got for you. That was good. I got to break up my mindless blabbering with 2 guests, so you guys might have listened almost all the way to the end. But yeah, I hope you guys all have a great rest of the week or weekend or whenever you're listening to this. And we'll be back at it next week. All right. Until next time.
You've been listening to the Inside the SPHL podcast. Got a topic you'd like discussed? Follow James on Twitter at FPHBulls. For the latest news on the SPHL and the rest of minor league hockey, download the Field Pass Hockey app, now available in the Apple and Android app stores.